Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I'm going to try and tackle the new World Boss Ultimate and the Resistance, and try and give you all of the tips and all of the explanations that I've gathered, and also give you my advice for who I think is strong with this new World Boss and actually weaker, because not every character has been affected equally. Some characters barely got off with any reductions in their efficiency. Other characters have sort of been nerfed to the ground. The characters themselves haven't been nerfed, but the strategy that we used to make those characters seem strong has been nerfed. So we're going to talk about that. But I just want to let you guys know that World Boss is not really that much harder than before. Yes, I am seeing a drop of about 20 to 25 stages. You know, I was at 99 for Proxima. I'm down to like 70, 75. A lot of other players, pretty much every player, whale or free to play, new or veteran, is going to see a drop of, 15, 20, 25 stages. That's normal. But it's affecting everyone pretty much equally. But at the same time, there are already people who have cleared stage 99 Ebony Maw, stage 99 of other world bosses. So it's not like world boss has suddenly become impossible and everyone's just going to be doing stage 20, 30, 40. That's definitely not the case. So I'm going to give you all of the tips that I can so that you can get back on that horse, pushing back up to the top of, whatever your goal is for world boss, whether it's climbing to stage 50, climbing to stage 60, or what have you. Now, the other thing I want to say before we get started is that I don't think character builds are going to need to change very much. I think that the way you compose your team and the way that you compose your strikers, that is what needs to change for your strategies to be effective again. I think if you go in with the same strategies, it's not going to work. So right off the top, you're wondering, Weapon Hex Captain America, dead. That combo does not work anymore. Weapon Hex plus any other striker that does all defense down, dead, gone, doesn't work anymore. Weapon Hex plus your own all defense down, filling up the cup is gone, the cup is dead, it doesn't work anymore. Does that make Weapon Hex a bad striker? No. Does that make her worse than before? Yes. So some people are going to say she has no value, she's been nerfed to the ground. I have good news for you. Several people on my Discord have confirmed that they cleared stage 80 or 85 Ebony Maw using Weapon Hex as a striker. So she's definitely not useless, but you have to use her in the right way. So let's talk about it. The one that I want to explain first, which is the one that I think illustrates the new strategy the best, is Scarlet Witch. So I want you guys to pretend we're going to go against this, theoretical Ebony Maw, and I want you to pretend that I have a tier 3 Scarlet Witch. And again, the builds don't change, so whatever. I have like a souped up tier 3 Scarlet Witch, CTP of Rage, whatever. Now, because Scarlet Witch has both mind control and all defense down on her 4th skill, I cannot bring with this new striker change. So she has mind resistance down, she has all defense down, and she has mind control. She's got the whole whammy there. Because she has all of that, I cannot bring any strikers in that deal all defense down. So I got to get rid of Nimrod, and I got to get rid of Apocalypse because he has mind control. So what do? Well, I can bring Red Skull for the increased damage dealt to superheroes and supervillains. And I can bring along, a regular damage character like this, increases energy attack. And I can bring along, let's say, Sharon Rogers, maybe Luna Snow, because they're just going to deal high raw damage, and they're going to give me a 10% increase to supervillains. So these would be good strikers for Scarlet Witch. Basically, the new strategy is you cannot double dip. You can only bring one effect once. And as far as mind control, charm, and time freeze, they all count as the same effect. So you can bring one all defense down character or one all defense down striker, but you cannot bring one all defense down character and one all defense down striker. It won't work, and it will actually make you do less damage. You will do less damage, your all defense down will get screwed up. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know the technicalities and the math behind it. I don't have the code for Marvel Future Fight and how they do things, but that is what I and many people have observed. So if you're trying that, if you're trying the old methods, okay, I'm going to bring in Iron Man, and then I'm going to fill that cup up to 100% by bringing in Weapon Hex. It's not going to work. You're going to do terrible damage. You're better off replacing Weapon Hex with someone who has mind control. At least you'll get the mind control. Someone like, let's say, Rachel Summers or Apocalypse, something like that. And then you'll have mind control from one striker, and you'll have all defense down from Tony's 4th skill. So that is sort of the basic premise of the new world boss. You're not using multiples of one type of effect. You're only bringing in one. So now let's talk about who is still really good for world boss. And I'll sort of go through them and list them off in terms of the character, and then I will give you a quick rundown on the terms of the strikers. So Professor X is still very, very good for world boss. You want 1 all defense down striker, and then you want 0 mind control strikers, 0 charm or time freeze strikers. So you can't bring Doctor Strange as a striker, you can't bring Luna, you can't bring Rachel Summers or Scarlet Witch, but you could bring Weapon Hex, and only Weapon Hex as far as all defense down. Or you could bring Negasonic. Negasonic actually has gained quite a bit of value from this change because she adds more all defense down in fewer hits. As I said before, Scarlet Witch is also very good. Doctor Strange is still very good. Again, he's not necessarily 99 worthy on multiple bosses, but he did stage 70 Cull Obsidian for me pretty easily. He time froze Cull Obsidian the whole time because I didn't bring any other mind control strikers, so that was pretty good. Who else we got? Luna Snow is still very good for Ebony Maw, not Cull Obsidian. Black Widow. And here's the thing, guys, I haven't been able to show you guys a lot of these because for some of these characters I don't have them. Like, I don't have Black Widow yet tier 3. Obviously I don't have Scarlet Witch tier 3. I don't know when I will tier 3 here, but there is other content out there and I encourage you to look for it. For example, on my Discord, I can see right here, Angry Chicken aka Abaddon posted a stage 85 Corvus kill with Black Widow tier 3. 85. So it's not like people are struggling and everyone's back down to doing stage 30, 40, 50. People are back up near the top. We've got another Abaddon video where he did Professor X, stage 99 Ebony Maw. We got people doing, you know, stage 50, 60 Corvus with underused characters or weaker characters that you might not expect, like Domino or Weapon X23. So you've got a lot of content out there, you know, showcasing these characters. Probably the best character still for World Boss is Deadpool. And we'll talk about Deadpool. Deadpool's sort of in a separate category along with Nimrod, but Deadpool and Nimrod are probably the only 2 kind of all-purpose tools. Sabretooth should be, but he's not. So yeah, we'll put Nimrod and Deadpool aside. Holiday Lady Deadpool specifically. But, you know, Captain America is still really good. I did stage 70 Proxima with Captain America. Oops, that's the wrong Captain America here. We want the Blast Captain America. Cable's still really good. Namor, Jean Grey is still good. Quicksilver's still good. Sabretooth's still good. Mystique is still good. Now I want to talk about characters that I have seen get worse. And these characters that I've seen have gotten worse primarily for one of two reasons. These characters have gotten worse because either they have no all defense down on their skills, but they relied on the 100% all defense down of the Weapon Hex Hydra Cap combo. So a perfect example is Cyclops. Cyclops' damage is not bad, but it's not good enough to do very high stages of World Boss unless he gets 100% all defense down. So he has seen a massive hit to his value. He's not as good. Another type of character is a character that had some all defense down, but not enough to matter, you know, only going up to like 10, 20, 30, 40%. And then they relied on filling up the cup with one striker, with just Weapon Hex. So a character, for example, Iron Man. Honestly, I think Magneto as well. I've struggled with Magneto. I tried doing stage 70 Cull Obsidian and he ran out of time, so you can probably only go up to like stage 69 or 65 Cull Obsidian. 65 Cull Obsidian, and before, for example, when Magneto could go to 100% all defense down, I could easily blow through stage 70 Cull in like a minute. So I think Magneto and Iron Man have both taken a hit in terms of their value. Mr. Fantastic has definitely taken a hit. He relied on that combo, that 100% combo, a lot. Crescent has also taken a hit. She only has all defense down on her ultimate ability, and it's only up to, I believe, 60%. So it's just not enough, and it's not often enough. It doesn't last long enough. It's not like Doctor Strange where you can spam the tier 3 skill to get that all defense down basically permanently applied. So yeah, she has definitely taken a hit. Another character that's definitely taken a hit, Dr. Octopus. He relied heavily on the all defense down mechanic, so his damage has gone down quite a bit, and his performance. Again, these characters are still good for other content like ABX, squad battle, you know, whatever, but just not as much for World Boss anymore. I've also seen Apocalypse take a hit against specifically Cull Obsidian. Again, before I could do like up to 90 with Apocalypse against Cull Obsidian, he ran out of time against stage 70 because of the changes in how they are. Thanos is going to take a hit as well, and other characters like that. So that is really what I've seen, and that's sort of the information that I wanted to impart on to you guys. I thought of showing you guys some different clears with different characters, but I thought explaining it and trying to explain a bit of the theory behind it as far as I can understand it is probably going to be more helpful for you, and to understand how to put together teams and how to put together striker lists will also help you. All of the content that I've made as well, as far as like best striker lists, those things are still applicable You just have to only choose one now instead of choosing multiples and trying to combine it. You got to sort of let go of that cup analogy because it does not work anymore. The final thing I want to say is about how I would explain these new bosses, and I guess it also in a way applies to these ones over here, as far as your approach. I think now with the change and with the resistance, world boss is a much more specialized type of fight. Because before, with the changes that they made to strikers being consistent, you were seeing things like, Mr. Fantastic clearing Proxima, clearing Corvus, and clearing Cull Obsidian. And it was pretty strange. You had characters, being able to clear, 3 out of 4, or in some cases 4 out of 4, or 5 out of 5 world bosses, even though they only dealt one type of damage. And it was quite strange to see that. So I think I know that is dead. So what I think you now need to focus on is reorganizing in your mind how characters interact with these bosses. So for example, Proxima, you want to bring high physical damage and you want to bring all defense down. Again, either all defense down on a character that applies it, like Captain America, and then no all defense down strikers, maybe, one mind control striker. Or if your character doesn't have all defense down like Namor, then bring one all defense down striker like Cable or Negasonic or Weapon Hex, something like that. For Cull Obsidian, you want to bring high energy damage and all defense down, but because Cull Obsidian will still cleanse the all defense down, you have to be a little bit more careful, and damage actually wins out against Cull Obsidian more so than all defense down, unless you can go over 100% like Deadpool and Nimrod, and that's why I'm leaving them to the end to talk about them. All defense down is a little bit less reliable against Cull Obsidian compared to any of the other bosses besides Thanos, because Cull cleanses it whenever he does that shoulder shield attack that has a line sort of targeting. For Corvus, of course, you need primarily high physical damage. High energy damage can work, but it's a lot slower in the first phase of the fight before he revives. And then of course you need ignore dodge, and then you do need all defense down, but I don't think you need as much as you do for Proxima. For Ebony, of course, elemental energy damage, and then all defense down is nice, and if you can couple that with elemental defense down, it's even nicer. So whereas, for example, you're going to need someone who can go minus 100% all defense down to clear high stages of Cull Obsidian, like Deadpool, you don't necessarily need as much as that for Ebony, but you need a more specialized character. Because you need a character that can not only do energy elemental damage, but you also need one that can apply some all defense down and some resistance down. Scarlet Witch is not applying a lot of all defense down, guys. She's not applying 100% or even close. So that's where I really see this being a specialized clear. She's only applying minus 50%. That's good, but that's half as much as Cull Obsidian needs against someone like Deadpool. And she's she's applying 100% mind resistance. She's not going to apply 100%, but it's up to minus 100. But you can sort of see what I'm saying. It's the combination of those two, the elemental resist that you're doing in damage, and all defense down, that really synergizes together against Ebony. So I think that is the way to approach these bosses now. I think, of course, the same thing that I said for Corvus is probably true about Quicksilver. And then for Scarlet's a little bit trickier. I think, high physical damage and being a speed type is probably the best for her. I'm not sure how good all defense down is against her, but I know she has energy reflect, so that's super dangerous. And then I don't have enough practice against these two goons to mention them, but that is the tips that I have for you. Finally, regarding Deadpool and Nimrod, I think they are the two exceptions here. Deadpool as a playable character, and Nimrod as both a character and a striker. Nimrod may now be the best overall value for World Boss as a character. So if you haven't picked up the Nimrod uniform, you should probably pick it up when the next sale happens if you have a tier 2 Sentinel. Because not only can he go himself to minus, he goes to minus 100, I think it's minus 104, when you use either White Fox lead, Dr. Voodoo lead, or can you use Enchantress lead? I'm not sure. Because Natural Order has minus 75% all defense down. Let's see, 75 times 1.25. No, you can't use Enchantress. So for Nimrod, you have to use Dr. Voodoo or White Fox. For Deadpool, you can use White Fox, Dr. Voodoo, or Enchantress. And basically, the reason why Nimrod is probably more value than Deadpool is because not only can you use Nimrod for your first clear, but then for your other 4 clears, you can use Nimrod as a striker. Again, he does have all defense down, so you can't use other all defense down strikers with him, but his all defense down is I think it's the highest single target all defense down besides weapon hex, but he applies it much more effectively. It says -50 here, but it's actually -75, and he stacks it up to -75 because each hit is, I believe, -25%, if I'm not wrong. So unlike weapon hex, who's like -3% per hit, and it goes up to -100, he is doing, yeah, -20%. So he stacks up every time to that -75. So he is possibly the single best striker now for all defense down in Marvel Future Fight. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I've seen. So if you have a Nimrod, use him as a striker and only use him for all defense down, because you'll be pleasantly surprised. And then of course Deadpool, we know how strong he is, and he can do the same thing that he does, you know, that he did before. He can do it against Proxima. I did stage 70 in like a minute and a half or 2 minutes with him on Black Dwarf, and of course he can probably do the same for Corvus, just not for Ebony Maw. And then if you need tips for Thanos, you're screwed. You just need very, very high raw damage without any all defense down. So hopefully this sort of theoretical discussion of what to do for World Boss and characters that are still strong, and unfortunately characters that have gotten a bit of a downgrade, has been helpful. Hopefully the explanation of only bringing one all defense down character between your team and your strikers, and only one mind control character between your team and your strikers has helped you. You can still bring one of each, but you cannot bring more than one of each, otherwise it will ruin that ability's effect completely. So if you bring Luna Snow, she has charm, you can't bring any mind control strikers, but you can still bring an all defense down striker. So if you have any more questions, let me know. I will be releasing new content soon to show you guys my clears with different teams against different bosses, but I just wanted to explain this to you guys in depth and give you examples and give you lists of characters now, so that you can make a more general approach to your roster and start to build new teams now and new striker lists, because I think that's more important than just showing you this character or that character, and if you're missing them, then it really doesn't help you that much in the short term and the long term. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it's helped, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.